This conference will now be recorded.
I've just started recording it. So, what is cloud computing? So, it's a practice of using a network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than a local server or a personal computer. Sounds a little complicated, right? But this is the standard definition for cloud computing. So let me give you let me give you a simple example so that it will be easier for you to remember this. So you need not by heart this definition, but the thing is you need to just need to get the concept. So uh, we all have at some point in time got used to personal computers at home or at school or at college, right? So they are all the boxes, right? So they are something which you see physically, okay, that are present at that place, okay. Unlike personal computers which we use, which are physically present along with us, there is something called as few resources which we can access from internet, right? So, what do you say if I say that Google is a cloud? So, Gmail is a cloud computing, right? So, you do not have a mail server at your end, right? You're not storing mails, neither you are hosting that website, right? So you need not take care of anything else. You need not take care of the underlying infrastructure. You simply use Gmail for, you just create an ID. That's it. Once have created the ID, it's your responsibility to maintain that ID. You have to remember the password. In case you forget, you have the option to reset the password. And apart from that, everything else is managed by Google, right? So this is a quite long practice which we are all used to, right? So today there's no one literally who doesn't know what is email, right? So what they do, so they act as a mediator between you and the recipient. You want to send a message to someone, okay, so you type it in the interface, and once you hit send, okay, using certain protocols it will be sent to the recipient, okay. So whoever holds that email address, similar to what you have, okay, so that email address whichever you have mentioned there, that will be sent to that that particular what to say, that particular user, okay. So that user also has a mailbox similar to what you have, so it will be placed there so that the other user will get to know that you have sent him or her an email, okay. So that is what about cloud computing. So using a network of remote servers, okay. So the remote is something which need to be emphasized. So remote means nothing but which you can't see directly, right? Okay, physically you can't see them. Okay, remote servers, you know what is a server is. So as of now, server is just a computer, okay, hosted on the internet. Okay, so this is the internet, right? Whichever you're using, Google Mail, okay, Gmail, that is internet, right? To store, okay, you are storing emails, right? You are managing emails and process data. You are sending emails, right? Rather than a local server or a personal computers. So you are not doing anything from your end directly. You are using a platform provided by Gmail and you are sending an email, right? Clear till this point? Anybody can respond to me. Okay, if anybody has any questions, they can they can let me know. But in case you have any questions, please do let me know by first saying your name and then followed by the question. Otherwise, you can everybody of I mean every one of you can say yes or no, when I want to check your understanding. Okay, everybody understood the concept till now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Ram.
here, yeah, thank you. And here, everything is offered as a service, right? So when you had to purchase a computer, okay, when you had to buy a computer, you have been to a computer store to to procure that computer, right? To purchase it physically, right? So that is the box which you purchase for yourself to start using it, right? So here it is not the case. Okay, you're not purchasing anything. Okay, you're simply using it as a service. Okay, so one of the best examples that I remember as a service is like, your your municipal water connection, right? Okay, so municipal water connection, see, you do not own a reservoir, right? You do not pay for entire reservoir or entire lake or river, right? You will be paying for whatever quota you have used it, right? So similar to that, you will be charged based on the uh, you will be charged only to the extent you have used it. Okay, and those charges, how much you will be charged, you can predict well in advance. Okay, it's not that it will come as a surprise to you. You will be very well informed prior to starting any service. You can make use of a calculator, which I'll show later. I'll walk you through the Azure and Microsoft websites, also the useful websites where you find all the information literally. Okay, and so as I said, it's a minimal usage, so you will be not charged upfront, unlike what is the case with your personal computer. Okay, so it is rather a best approach for startups and small sized enterprises, because they would hardly find any budgets to set up a huge set of infrastructure, right? They procure some servers today. Their organization is pretty small now, and tomorrow we don't know, they are not certain whether they would grow or they would have to decommission those servers and procure new ones because they are outdated, right? So what they would do is, rather they would like get some service from cloud. Okay, cloud service providers such as Microsoft or AWS. Okay, and they just spin up the servers, use them, and they will delete them when they don't require it anymore, or else they can upgrade it directly. Okay, it is everything virtual, right? Nothing physical. Okay, all the underlying physical hardware, everything is taken care by the service provider here. Okay, so cloud computing, again, one thing, I've seen many people getting confused with cloud computing and public cloud. Okay, so in cloud itself there are different types of cloud. Okay, so cloud means something which you do not have control, which you do not manage, and which you do not see actually physically. Okay, that is something called as cloud computing. It could be a a room next door to you, right? Okay, you are living at a particular place. There is, few miles away you have some data center. Okay, hosted by someone. Okay, they are owning the data center. They will provide you the services. You can use the data center to host your virtual machines, for example. Okay, so what is virtual machine? I'll give you all the definitions and everything subsequently later. Okay, so as of now, just remember like this. Okay, so you'll not buy anything and you'll just use it and delete it. Okay, so these are the key players that you see here. So Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Alibaba.com, IBM, Oracle. Okay, so these are all leaders actually. Okay, these are all key players. Not everyone is a leader, but currently the leaders are only three: Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And how they are compared, I'll show you in a short while. Okay, so we have Alibaba.com, IBM. They have their own cloud. Like it's like a more like a um, private cloud kind of thing. Okay, Oracle as well. Okay, but IBM, Oracle are like not so popular as Amazon and Microsoft. Okay, and Google. Okay, neither is Alibaba that much, but yes, they are pretty much into the business. They are a competition as well. There might be a competition later, but now yes, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. The competition is between these three. So Amazon brand name is AWS or Amazon Web Services, and Google offers its cloud services in under the brand name of GCP, also known as Google Cloud Platform. And there are other clouds also like Salesforce. Okay, by Salesforce. Okay, the company's name itself is Salesforce, so they have Salesforce Cloud also. Okay, and Oracle Cloud, and IBM Cloud, the one which you see with the sun rays behind the cloud, that is IBM Cloud. And the one to the bottom left that you see, a set of parentheses and a hyphen between them. Okay, that represents the logo of Alibaba. So at the center of everything is Azure, because predominantly because Azure is like, is like a hot cake now. So I'll tell you what, why is it so in demand, and like, what are the prospects of growing with Azure rather than any other competitor of it. So okay. So let's start with on-premise. Okay, I'll just give you a brief distinguishing here. Okay, so brief differences between on-premise and cloud. So as I said earlier, you need to have servers, right? If you are purchasing a personal computer, you need to ensure that you have sufficient air conditioning, right? You need to have sufficient cooling, right? You might have also learned when you were in school, in at early stages of your computer literacy, you might have heard about, like, lab having AC, right? Whenever there is AC failure, usually, you would not be taken to those lab classes, right? So similarly, you need to have all the data center infrastructure like AC, power, network systems, everything. Okay, and yes, of course, once they are in place, you would have to procure physical servers. Okay, and you would like to virtualize them. That's a later thing, but you need to have some metal, right? Some bare metal, right? So start with. Okay, and switches are, they fall under the category of networking. And there are also other things like routers, hubs, etc, etc. Okay, so these all things needs to be taken care of. And on top of it, if you want to virtualize the environment, like, instead of using one single physical server for single application, you would rather want, n number of servers within that single physical server, because you do not need it for a single application. Okay, the physical server, usually the server's capacity is considered to be very high. Okay, they are on the higher end. That's the reason why they are known as servers. And the servers, like, the servers look something like this. I'll show you. Okay, this is one example of servers. Okay, I'll show you the images. Okay, see, this is how the servers look like. Okay, so this is a blade server. Okay, there's something known as rack server also. See, this is rack server. This is rack server because these represent racks. Okay, so that's the reason why the name rack server is into the place. Okay, so you just drag them, pull them, and push them off. See how much it is costing? 1,11,590 rupees. Okay, if you want to buy it. Okay, usually what happens, what would be the specifications? So this, the family, I mean the processor as well as the internal components family would be of from a very higher end, 768 GB. Usually 768 GB is not required for any single application, ideally, until and unless it is a very memory intensive application, you wouldn't need that much. Okay, and memory slots, 24 memory slots, storage space 50 TB. Okay, a dual power supply. Okay, these are all the things, these are few of the specifications of servers. So that's the reason why they are called servers. If they are just like our personal computers, they are not called as servers. Okay, and so you have data center infrastructure. I mean, you have data center, you have AC, you have physical servers, you have switches, you have virtualization software also, such as Hyper-V or VMware, using which you create n number of virtual machines out of each physical server. Okay, and on top of it, now you need operating system, right? So operating system, I think everybody knows here, like, it is a mediator between hardware and the user, right? So now I'm accessing, now I'm showing you all these things, right? Now I'm doing all these things using my computer, and I can see you joining in, and I can see these slides and everything in a proper format only because of operating system, right? If I do not have a proper operating system, I would not know what's there behind the screen, right? So that is the about operating system. It could be either Windows or a Linux operating system, whatever it be, it's still okay, okay, based on the type of requirement. Okay, so now comes the need for application, right? So application is the only purpose for which you have procured a server, right? So application, be it it could be either a web server, or else it could be a database server. Okay, you would install on top of operating system. And see, operating for operating system, you need to have license, right? You cannot simply install some pirate software, pirate OS from somewhere else. You just dump it there, and you do it. See, enterprise, in enterprise system, everything is licensed. You cannot cheat Microsoft or any company for that matter at an enterprise level, right? So there would be audits also conducted periodically by Microsoft on in their customers premises also, just to ensure that no, they are not misutilizing the resources provided by Microsoft. Okay, so operating, these all I'm telling you out of my experience. I have worked, there have been people who have come to me and asked me, like, where is the, like, where are the appropriate licenses stored? Okay, what are the licenses, how many number of licenses do you have, and how many clients are connected to a server? Okay, you need to show everything. Okay, otherwise Microsoft would report that to the compliance organizations. Okay, again, that would be an issue for your organization. So operating system and applications also, like, once you install the operating system, the license is done till there. Okay, and when you install an application such as SQL Server from Microsoft, or Oracle, or anything, okay, so for that also you need to have a license. Okay, so on top of the operating system, you need to have license for application also. You need to manage both of these licenses. You need to be aware of, like, when these licenses are going to expire, and you have to take care of them. And data. So data is always the sole responsibility of the customer. It's not a shared responsibility, right? Okay, so your data, your wish, you have to manage, and you have to take care of the data availability at any given point of time, based on your requirement. Okay, and finally, identities. So identities is the, again, like, data and identities both are actually the sole responsibility of the user. Okay, so if you consider Gmail also, they would provide you everything, but identity you have to create, and you have to maintain it. If you forget password, you have the option to reset the password, but they do not have your password. They cannot give you your password. Their servers won't remember your password. They are, of course, hashed. Okay, there are certain things, like, under which there are conditions under which your passwords get encrypted and stored somewhere, so that it is matched when you log in. But no password is stored in a text format. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, this is all about on premises. This is one side of the coin. So to the other side, we have cloud system. Okay, so cloud, in the cloud ecosystem, okay, you need not buy a data center, right? Someone owns a data center, like Microsoft or Google or AWS, Amazon. Okay, now physical servers, that too they have it for you. Okay, everything is set, platform is set. Okay, now virtualization. So virtualization depends on whether you choose to have virtualization or not. Leave alone Microsoft Azure or Google or anything. Okay, just think about, someone is providing you the space to host your servers, right? So they have the servers, you just pay the rent. Okay, whether you want to virtualize and use them, it depends upon the agreement that you have with them. Okay, in case you do not have need virtualization, you just need physical server, one single server, one complete bare metal dedicated for one application. Okay, fine, you go with it. So virtualization is still an option here. And operating system, you have to buy the operating system. You have to carry your license. Okay, you have to buy license separately for operating system and applications again. Okay, individually. And data and identities, as I said, it's always the sole responsibility of the customer. Okay, clear till this point? Any questions?
Yes, Ram. No questions.
Okay, thank you. So, Azure, like any other cloud, provides services in three distinct categories. Okay, distinct. Why I'm saying this, because later you might ask me, what is mobility as a service, sir? Okay, what is SQL as a service? So they have categorized certain things into three broad categories. So distinct categories, I would say. Okay, one is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. The other one is PaaS, platform as a service, and other one is SaaS. Okay, so I would I would not get you through all these things, but I'll just quickly run through it just in 1 minute. Okay, so this slide says, see, I ask, okay, whatever is mentioned in green, whatever is in green, they are all managed by service provider. Okay, whatever is in red are managed by the user or the customer. Now tell me, anybody, which of these services are easy, I mean, which of these services are easy to manage from the customer point of view? Okay, so I'll give you maybe I mean, you need much more clarity. Okay, so infrastructure as a service, as I said earlier, you will be provided with data center, physical servers, and virtualization software such as VMware or Hyper-V. Okay, operating system, applications, data, and editors you have to buy, right? Okay, here also, you see, right, operating system, application, data, and identities. However, cloud service provider also has an alternative for their customers to provide everything including operating system and applications, but data and identities will be managed by the customer. Okay, very best example is, so first example for infrastructure as a service is virtual machine, right? So you have to manage operating system. Here operating system being in red doesn't mean that you have to buy license separately for the operating system. Rather, you would have the responsibility to manage. This is a shared responsibility. Operating system is a shared responsibility between Microsoft and the customer. And in platform as a service, operating system is also provided by them. So the best example is application is also provided by them. That means the best example we can give is SQL server, right? Okay, SQL server is already there. Okay, you just use it. Okay, they are providing you the databases, you just create databases. Okay, database server is already there in place. Okay, you just take care of data identities. Okay, SQL databases you have to create, and identities also you have to take care of it. Okay, that's fine. And the third comes software as a service, wherein you would have all the things except the identities, which is your responsibility, the customer's responsibility. As I said in the previous slide, identities are always you know the sole responsibility of the customer, and data to an extent, yes, it is most of the times it is under the customer's control. But sir, hosting purposes, you will have to, if you consider what you say, Gmail, right? The data is managed by them, right? So you just manage your identities. That's it. Okay, now clear? Okay, guys, I'll
Ram?
tell you something. If you have any questions, I'll, at the end of, very frequently, I'll ask you if you have any questions just to check your understanding. Okay, in case you have any questions, kindly respond within 10 seconds, guys. Okay, if I don't receive any response within 10 seconds, I will proceed with the rest of the slides. Got it? Clear? Anybody has any questions or understood everything? Okay. If there is silence for more than 10 seconds, I presume that you have understood everything and you do not have any questions at this point in time. However, if you have any questions, you can park aside, and you can ask me at the end of this session also, as with any session going forward also. Okay. So what are the benefits of cloud computing? The very first thing that comes to my mind is scalability. Okay. So in enterprise point of view, today I set up an organization. I have very few customers. Okay. For them, I have one product which is which just need 1 gig of memory, and some 100 GB of data. Okay. So that's it. I mean, 100 GB of disk, and a very small, so few things I need, very, I just need one or two processors, not more than that. Okay, I would go with a very basic virtual machine. Okay, so don't worry about what is virtual machine. I'll explain it to you. But as of now, just imagine as any computer. Okay, so now I buy a computer. So I'll just give you an example of just correlate it with your personal computer. You bought a computer today, okay, or you bought it sometime back, around 1 or 2 years ago, okay. Now your computer is of no use with the, you bought it when Windows 7 was into existence. Now with Windows 7 support being ceased totally, now you would actually want to have a Windows 10 system for which your current machine is not compatible. Say that is a 32-bit operating system that you had. Now you need a 64-bit machine to install Windows 10, for example. That because that's a 64-bit OS. Okay, so what is scalability here is, you cannot return your machine to the vendor. I mean, to the seller who sold this to you, right? Wherever you bought, you cannot go and return it. They will not take it, right? Okay, so that machine is waste. You have to dispose it off. Nobody will buy it. Okay, so that is gone waste, right? After 2 years or 3 years, whatever period, that will one day that will be out of date. Okay, when servers with high-end configurations are bound to be decommissioned at one point or the other. Okay, those decommission decisions will be taken by organization internally based upon the parameters that they choose while buying. So they have certain standards. So we should use this server only for this particular time. Okay, after that this server would wear and tear would start, server parts will get shrinked off, or may not work as much as they were initially. Okay, now what you would do is, you are only left with buying a new one, right? So is that scalable? No, right? You are buying a new one totally. That is replaceability, not scalability. Okay, here what you would do is, you would simply, today my organization is a very small organization. I have hardly few customers, handful of customers, and tomorrow my organization has grown. Okay, or previously I started organization few years back. Now I have a lot number of customers and I need more computing power to host my website or any of the resources which my customers access. So I would need that, I would quickly be able to I should quickly be able to switch to a upgrade to a higher version. Okay, with minimal cost. Okay, what I would do, I have taken some very basic machine earlier. I have selected a very basic machine earlier, and I have moved towards, I want to have a newer higher one. I just select a new, I just select the one which I want to upgrade it to, and I just click okay. That's it. At a click of a button, your VM has got upgraded from one CPU, 1 gig memory to four CPUs, 4 gigs memory, for example. See how easy it is. So you didn't get any waste here, right? Your previous virtual machine got, I mean, it got perished. Okay, your virtual machine moved to a host which has a higher capability, and you have been given that much computing power to host your applications without wasting anything, any resource, right? And second thing is on demand or always available, so whenever you require you would have it. And you have high availability is one of the uh, things to be considered, one of the things which are considered these days. That is the reason why enterprises are moving towards cloud. They are inclined towards cloud because of high availability. So this is the one of the main factors you need to remember. So this is one of the, there you would be getting majority of questions on high availability in AZ104 particularly. Okay, so next is elasticity. Okay, elasticity, what is the difference between elasticity and scalability? So in scalability I'm upgrading, right? So in elasticity also I can upgrade or downgrade. So scaling is one thing, and elasticity means, you in any dimension, vertically or horizontally, whichever way you expand, you upgrade, you can do it. So here elasticity means scaling out, I mean the ability to scale out or scale up, or scale in and scale down. Okay, so scale out is something, is a phenomenon wherein you would spin up multiple virtual machines, multiple identical virtual machines. Let me emphasize that, identical virtual machines. Okay, based on the need. Okay, when the need is over, you would rather want only one machine which was already there. Okay, you simply choose to scale in. Okay, scale in, scale out, scale in, scale out. Okay, scale out means increasing, scale in means decreasing. Okay, similarly scale up means horizontal, means what you say is vertically. So scale up means you would, as I said earlier, scalability, you want to upgrade, okay, scale up. Okay, you want to downgrade, scale down. That's it. Okay, and one more thing is self service. So everything the customer can do from their end. Okay, there's no need for you to call the, or place a request to the cloud service provider to do this, to do that, right? To scale it up or to scale it down. Okay, most of the time you do it yourself, or even you automate the things in such a way that the scalability, I mean the scaling of applications or the resources are taken care automatically by Azure based on the conditions that you set. Okay, and it is a, as I said earlier, so it is a metered usage, or it is based on a pay as you go model. You will just pay for whatever you have used on a per minute basis, not even hourly basis. You will nowadays if you take anything for rent or something, for earlier, if you remember those days when we used to hire a bicycle. Okay, per hour they used charges on a hourly basis, right? There was no option for them to charge on a minute to minute basis, right? So now what happened, now you see these scooters, right? Prepaid, I mean self driven scooters or the self driven cars. Okay, I will not take the example of cars because they are still like on a hourly mode. I don't know why, but the scooters are now, you have that privilege to use it only till the minute you want it. Okay, the minute you close it, the moment you end the ride, you will be billed only till that minute. You will not be billed for the entire hour. Okay, so that is what the pay as you go means. Any questions till now, guys? All good? Okay. Let me see if somebody has pinged me. Just in case somebody has pinged me, let me see and reply to them. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay. Fine. All right. I presume that you do not have any questions at this point in me. See, the reason why I actually included it in the slide is earlier we had two portals, okay, for Azure. The pretty much the same thing, but the thing is, like, you have something called as, like, two different kinds of workloads. One is classic, and the other one is resource manager. Okay, so what is classic and what is resource manager? You learn it later. Classic is literally outdated. So earlier we used to have classic deployments also at scale. So the URL that you can see here is manage.windowsazure.com. Okay, whereas the regular portal, the default portal, which is a resource manager portal, it was named as portal.azure.com. ms.portal.azure.com, maybe it got redirected, but then, you just type portal.azure.com, you'll be here. Okay, here I'll show you. Where is this? So portal.azure.com, right? So this is what classic portal, old portal used to look. Now they have deprecated it, and they have now we have a single portal to manage any resource, be it classic or a resource manager thing, resource. So our topic of interest would be, like, we our major shift would be on, I mean, focus will be on resource manager only, because classic is outdated, and itself, like, it's taking classic, like, now it doesn't make any sense. So this is what, like, the portal looks. Okay, now let me quickly get into portal. Okay, I'll start again for you. Okay, I'll just type portal.azure.com. Okay, so this is what I see, the home page of my subscription. Okay, so there are different things. Okay, there are many things, and one thing, guys, Azure itself is not a core technology. Okay, so we have technologies like .NET, Windows, Hyper-V, like, Active Directory, like, SQL, etc., right? So Azure is only a provider of those services. Like, you can integrate or extend those services, existing services, to cloud. Okay, but it's Azure itself is not a technology. Okay, let me be clear with that. Okay, so eventually, like, since most of you are very new to IT, so still you need not worry, because most of the people, even me, I do not, I just have knowledge on Active Directory, okay, and Windows. What about the rest of the things? So Azure is, like, the best choice, best career path for you all is, uh, you know sorry, Azure administrator, right? So how you will be an Azure administrator? So, like, you do not know any technology particularly, but you can still be Azure administrator, because managing most of these things is just a matter of authentication and, the privilege that you have. Okay, so I'll show you, like, how you will be a Microsoft certified Azure administrator. Okay, for this, what I would do is I'll go to um, docs dot microsoft dot com certifications. Okay, I'll just select all the certifications. I'll browse it and I'll show you. So these are the different kinds of certifications. Okay, so what you would do is you just you see here you have different certifications, right? So these are the browse role based certifications, browse fundamental certifications. So first thing, very first step towards getting certified or towards getting more knowledge into Azure is attempting Microsoft certified Azure fundamentals. Okay, this is the Azure fundamentals is the basic exam. Okay, which is suggested for beginners like you. Okay, so this shows 1 star because this is a fundamental exam. Okay, here you see in the middle row you see I mean in the middle column you see 2 stars, right, on each of these badges. Okay, this means these are into a particular role. Like, if you are an administrator, you would you would need knowledge on set of things. Okay, so knowledge is more like in depth into the technology. So whereas it is not the case with the fundamental examination. In fundamentals, you will be tested on your knowledge of the breadth of the services. Okay, not the depth of the services. You will be judged on the breadth of the knowledge of the breadth of the services that you have across Microsoft Azure. Okay, like, what are the storage accounts available? Okay, what are the I mean, what are what are the wow, okay, what are the scaling options available? VM scale sets, or VM availability sets, availability, etc. Basic thing, very basic things. Okay, so there are other certifications also, which are 3 star certifications. These are like expert certifications. So a fundamentals certification, associate certification, and expert certification. These three are different categories. To begin with, you will start with Azure fundamentals. Okay, so here you have, like, what are the skills measured, right? Okay, so this is the certification which you see to the right side. Okay, under the certification details. For that, you need to take one exam called as Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. Okay, so this is what you need to do. You can download the certification skills outline here to see what is the syllabus and how the question pattern usually be. So question pattern is almost the same for across, at least for Azure AZ 900. So it will be like multiple choice mostly. uh, and no, what else? So I wanted to show you one thing. So you might be wondering, like, what is Microsoft stand? What is Where does Microsoft stand, or the Azure stand, in terms of with regards to its competitors? Okay, there are certain excellent articles that I have found here. So I'll show you that. I'll start with this. So I'm referring to a third party website. So which ideally they do not endorse anything, right? So a third party would not endorse either Azure or AWS or a GCP. Okay, they would just give their insights. They would just publish their research results. Okay, so this is Cloud Health by VMware. So VMware also have their own cloud, that is a private cloud. Okay, so how they have rated. Okay, so let's talk facts. Okay, every cloud, I mean, no cloud service provider, or for that matter, no product is completely viable for everyone. Okay, no single product of bit of any company would address all your concerns. Okay, so sometimes you would have to use a combination of both or multiple products. Okay, so see, you are seeing this graph, right? So it's this one you would not understand because it's figures. I mean, the graph legend is different. Okay, so percentage wise, you will not understand much here. So this is the explanation. Okay, So comparing AWS versus Azure, okay, AWS and Azure are both experience revenue growth year over year. Both are like like a cutthroat competition to each other. AWS has been a player since decade or even more than that. So Azure has evolved over a period of last 5 to 6 years. And earlier, they had very limited set of services, which were not branded as Azure, of course. But once they branded the cloud services as Azure, they have first started off with infra IaaS services and then PaaS services. Okay, now they are providing SaaS services also. SaaS services example is Office 365. So Office 365 is a totally different product altogether. That's a different thing. I mean, in the when it comes to licensing part. But yeah, AWS has been in picture since a decade, and Azure has evolved in the last 5 years. So Azure is like half the age of AWS. So which one would have more demand going further? I mean, going forward, in the near future. Do you have any idea? Can anybody tell me like which one would have more future? I mean, much more prospects. Which one is better, you would say? I mean, I would not say which one is better, but which one has more prospects, like in terms of employability, in terms of creating jobs for people, like cloud administrators or DevOps engineers, whoever it is. So which one, AWS or Azure, which one would provide more jobs in the near future? Any idea?
Sure.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So Neelima, thank you for your response. And can you explain me why, like what you think is the differentiating factor in Azure that it has an edge over its competitors?
I think
Just in
Azure
your
is
word.
growing nowadays.
Yeah.
So, so I think it has better future.
Exactly. So, see, just imagine, we just compare two people. One person is a little older. I mean, is into their 30s or something. Okay, and one person is into they have just he or she has just crossed their teenage. They are into 20s, early 20s. Okay, so going forward, in the future, who would you look upon to? Who would you, what to say? Who would you feel more secure or more reliable in terms of performance or anything, in general, right? So leave about legacy. I'm not talking about legacy or I'm not talking about any ethics. I'm not saying that you should throw either of them or you should kick either of them out of your house. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling who has more potential to work from 10 years from now. One is 30 years old, the other one is 20 years old. Who has more future? Obviously the one which is younger, right? 20 years old. So that's what that's one equation. Okay. And why should I trust in something very new, like that is relatively newer? Okay, so you can see, you need not blindly have faith into anything, but you can research, you can find everywhere, what is the data, why should I choose Azure over AWS? And I'm sure you'd come back saying that, if you are someone who is looking for a quick job or quick career into cloud, would come back to me saying that Azure is the best option because of many reasons. Okay, one is that they are evolving their performance. You look at the performance, right? So when you are buying any shares, when you are investing somewhere, of course you might not have investment knowledge, but then I'm just giving you an example. When you're investing somewhere, you would know their credibility in beforehand, right? So you would know their word. then only you would invest in it. So Azure has performed, they have shown every year on year there has been growth only. Okay, so since last 5 years, they have grown very rapidly and they've evolved a lot. It's me who has seen it. Okay, from my personal point of view. So and I chose to stick to Azure because I saw that much future into it. I would have also switched into AWS because I am also I have knowledge into AWS also, but then I never I didn't want to leave Azure because it's growing it's growing crazy. It's evolving a very big time now. Okay, and AWS and Azure are both experiencing diminishing revenue growth rates year over year. Okay, so again here both are sinking. Of course, now because at some point in time there would be exhaustion, right? So today you have released a product, 100 there are 100 people, in your target. Okay, 100 people have bought it. Okay, next year also you have 100 people only as target. Will anybody will you have new customers? Ideally you would have that many customers because you have already captured the market 100%. Okay, so now where will be the market? So you will have to actually continue business with those people only. Okay, so if the market itself is captured, so you cannot you cannot score more than 100, right? You cannot score more than 100% in any subject, right? Even if you wish to. So that is what. And one more thing, so this is in favor of Azure, I believe. In the past few years, Azure has had higher revenue growth rates when compared directly to AWS. Okay, most recently in Q3 of 2020. Q3 2020 is October, November, December, sorry, yeah, July, August, September. Okay, so during this period, Azure's revenue growth was 48% compared to AWS revenue growth of 30.3%. Is this not sufficient to prove your point? Okay, and although Azure's growth rates are higher in the last 4 years, Azure's revenue growth is diminishing at a faster rate than AWS. So I said earlier, their diminishing rate means nothing but I already I reached out to entire market. Okay, I have market this many people, for example, I have 10 shops. Okay, I'm a supplier for those 10 shops. Okay, I have those 10 shops only in my locality to whom I can supply, and I have supplied to all of them. All are my customers. Now who else I will approach? Obviously the revenue, the revenue growth percentage would be same, right? So it already sold. Okay, now I'm already earning $1 million. Now, like you know it is not that much, year on year. That's what they are going to say. So it's of course a matter of mm, it will go to 40%. Okay, um so that is what and I'll show you one more thing. This is more service to service comparison. Okay, ratings: 5 star, 61% goes for Amazon and 56% goes for Microsoft. Okay, Azure. Okay, so 38% gave 4 star and 41% gave 4 star. Okay, 3 star 2%, and 1 star, I mean 2% and 3%, and 2 star, 1 star, nothing. Okay, so what are the parameters under which they are rated? First is compute. Okay, 4.6, 4.6 out of 211 reviews, and this is 4.5 out of 128 reviews. Obviously, see, the lesser the number of reviews, the rating would be more, right? I mean, you should actually the rating would also change. Okay, the rating percentage, the number of satisfied customers will also change. If it is exactly the same baseline, if the baseline is same, then we can at least compare, yeah, this is good, this is bad. Okay, but then when you look at these figures, okay, so with someone who has been already a leader since over a decade, okay, see how Microsoft aligns themselves to such a level that they are like close to their competitor everywhere. Okay, so here out of 415 reviews of user management, Amazon has got 4.6 stars, and Azure got 4.6 stars. But the baseline is different, right? So here 415 users, they have got 415 votes, and here they have got only 268 votes. Okay, so 268 customers. Okay, so a network, okay, 210 to one, sorry, 4.6, 4.5, 4.7, 4.6. Like similarly, so these numbers are like pretty much almost similar. But one more thing I'll tell you, why you should choose Azure is, like the simplicity, like the very, like you get these things very easily, guys. So, like Microsoft, support for Microsoft is very vast, and they dominate the market. Okay, let me go to this certification. Okay, what is the cost of this certification in idea? 3696. Okay, plus GST or whatever it is there that will be applicable. And I'll go to another exam. Okay, let's say 104. Since I know the exam code, I'll just type it over here. So this is the exam. This is certificate actually. It's the exam, Microsoft Certified Associate badge you'll get when you pass Microsoft Azure Administrator. So there are two things to become an administrator. One, you take AZ 900, and then you take Microsoft Azure Administrator. The reason why I would suggest you to first take AZ 900 certification is you would get some, once you would get some confidence once you're passed in it. Yeah, I have this level of knowledge. You will have that idea also, and you have that fair amount of experience writing certification exam, because you are all new to technology, so that is suggested. And then write an Azure Administrator certification. You will become Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate. Okay. So what are the skills measured here? Manage Azure identities and governance, implement and manage storage, deploy and manage Azure compute resources, configure and manage virtual networking, monitor and backup Azure resources. These are all the things that you would learn in this course. And apart from that, so what I have mentioned, I mean, what were there in AZ 900? Let's have a quick look into it. Okay, Azure fundamentals. Describe cloud concept, describe core Azure services, describe core solutions and management tools on Azure, describe general security and network security features, describe identity governance, privacy and compliance features, describe Azure cost management and service level agreements. These are the things which will be measured on. Okay, so these are quite simple. So you need to just know the theory. Okay, this will cover in the I mean, like if we start, once we start, we can complete it within 1 week maximum. Like if we sit 1.5 hour a day also, it will be like within a week we can complete this, so that you can write the AZ 900 certification if you want to right away, or else you can write it sometime later, or like once we complete AZ 104 also, you can directly write either AZ 104 or write AZ 900 and AZ 104. And one reason I told you, right, why I wanted to you to go for this Microsoft Azure is, like the cost for certification is also very less compared to AWS. Okay, similarly, I'll show you that AWS also. AWS, AWS. Okay, I'll go for AWS certification and see how much it is costing in Indian rupees. So I think they do not have, they do not charge in INR. They would charge rather in US dollars. Get certified. I'll go for this. I get certified. So to schedule an exam, I'll schedule an exam. I believe I have done it sometime back, but I don't remember exactly how much it costs. Let me give you that overview also, so that you will be able to judge, like, which one is better. Okay, I should, end of the day, we should leave an option with you guys also, right? So I'll have to sign in. So Azure itself is like an ocean. So don't expect you will be good at everything. Okay, so you'll be only good at those things which you already know, or if you do not know them, if you learn them, like, what you learn is like, how to manage, for example, virtual networks, how to manage virtual networks. I'm sure none of you are aware of what networking is, or like, what virtual network is, right? But then in this course, you will be able to, identify, like, what is a virtual network, and, like, you can say what is a virtual network, you can explain it, you can create virtual networks, you can manage virtual networks. Isn't that good enough reason? Okay, go to your account. Okay, so that one we saw 3696, right? Fundamentals. And the 104 exam is 4800. Okay, now I'll schedule a new exam. Okay. Okay, AWS Cloud Practitioner is a very basic schedule with Pearson view. I'll schedule with Pearson view only, because I mean, usually this is what is preferred by people. Okay, so whatever it is, the price would be almost same. The local test center around that from the home office. Okay, next. This is what the exam registration process is. This is how you schedule your. So this is same across any exam, any provider, be it Microsoft or AWS. These screens are common to get, because you are scheduling it from using Pearson View, not AWS website. Okay. Here I'll see all the, like, if I visit Pearson View website, I'll see all the exams, be it AWS or Microsoft, all the exams. Both the exams I can see in the list, in the schedule. Okay. Next. Okay, these things just ignore. I just wanted to show you how much it costs. I'm sure to an extent that, it is costlier than Microsoft exam. Okay, just certain amount of the time. How much it is? $100. Okay, not 100 rupees. Okay, this is $100, and I'll add another exam. So $100 is how much? So 100 into like 70, let us say. Okay, current exchange rate, I think it's around 70. So it will be 7,000 plus. See, the very foundation, very preliminary exam costs you 7,000 here, whereas Microsoft offers you that certification at half the price. Okay, isn't this sufficient? See, one more thing, I'll show you that also. Azure Administrator. AWS certified role practitioner. This is the AZ104 equivalent. And one thing, guys, so I have a track record of 100% certification pass. Okay, for the candidates whom I have trained, I can, I can help you in, preparing for certification exam as well. So I'll give you some practice questions and practice scenarios. You just practice them, and like if you practice 100% of my exam, I mean my questions or scenarios at least twice. Okay, you are good to take an exam and you'll certainly pass it. So that's my guarantee. Okay, $150. $150 is close to $10,000, right? 10,000 rupees, right? Sorry. Okay, so the half of the price you'll get certified in both, or even in one also. Okay, so total tax and everything, $295 it comes to. Okay, so the like $300, let's say. How much it is? 21,000. Okay, rather you'll pass it like I mean, if you write both also, it will be not even half of it. Okay, so that is what the advantage is. I wanted to show you this also, though not planned actually earlier, but I just I wanted to show you this aspect also. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, any questions till this point? We are going to go further. We are like it's like time is almost up. I have just 5 to 10 more minutes of time. Like I just wanted to walk you through, like just to give you a overview of the Azure portal, which I've already given, I believe. So like if you are in a hurry to leave, that's fine. Otherwise, if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. And if you don't have any questions, maybe we are good to wind up.
No questions.
Okay. What about the others? Do others have any questions? No questions. Um, Govardhan, do you have any questions? I think few of you have already left, isn't it? I mean, Satya, what was his name? Satya, he also left, I think. Okay, fine. All right. Let me see. Right, okay. 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 Fine. So Manohar, are we good to end the session?
Yeah, okay, sure, Ram. Let's end up this session
Okay
altogether.
then. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining this session. I look forward to training you guys, and I would see you guys. I would like to see you guys certified in AZ 900 at least in the coming few days. And once it is done, you'll also definitely pass 104 also. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this session. Have a great day, and look forward to see you later tomorrow or day after as and when the batch starts. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.